Okay, here we go. Got it. Whatever. Okay, yes, we are live. So good, got it. All right. Hey. Welcome
Yes.
everybody. We are live. We are live. Houston, we are live. So,
And we did have a problem.
and I can see it right here on my other screen. So hopefully we'll have some people show up real time, but if not, doesn't matter anyway. How you doing tonight, Miss Judith?
Doing all right. Doing all right.
Yeah, you had a good day at the prison yesterday, at the jail.
I did.
Mhm.
Learned some interesting things that I can't share, but yes, it was. Can you read that scripture out loud?
Yes. Okay.
This is a scripture. This is a scripture that our pastor read this morning, and it hit me right between the eyes. Take it.
Did it make your hair stand up?
And I almost fell out of the chair.
All right, here it says, this is in Acts chapter 18, and this is from the Passion Version, verse 9. The Lord spoke to Paul in a supernatural vision and said, "Don't ever be afraid. Speak the words that I give you, and don't be intimidated, because I am with you. No one will be able to hurt you, for there are many in the city whom I call my own."
So when I heard that, immediately, of course, I thought the jail situation, and it was God just speaking to my heart, saying, "Keep walking them halls and going in them cells, girl."
Yeah.
So, and nobody can harm me. I do believe there are some attempts to trip me up right now, not by inmates, but I think Jesus walked those halls with me yesterday and into those cell blocks. Yeah. So it was a great thing. But that was an affirmation of what was going on. It was unbelievable.
Encouraging. Yes.
Yeah.
So I've been to the jail with Judy just a few times, and I gotta say, I really admire and respect this woman, because when you're talking about walking the halls, you're walking down like you see on TV, these dark halls, just concrete blocks. You've got all of the venting system overhead. It's just eerie. It's eerie.
Yeah, that's a good word.
Long. It's just so long,
It is the length of a football field.
Yeah, and you have to.
The man that goes in with me told me he has counted it. It is the length of a football field that you walk straight down.
Yeah, and then you have to press these buttons.
Take a left.
Permission for the door to open to get into the place that you want to go, and it's kind of creepy, really. But to do it by yourself, I mean, you're a kick-ass 77-year-old woman. Might have to censor that.
I had Jesus walking with me.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, you do. So I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you for doing
Thanks. Thanks.
Yeah, and then she goes into a room without any security. I mean, they're in the tower and they're watching from cameras, but she is by herself in this room with these inmates, and it's a large group, especially the one block is a pretty large group of women, so anything can happen. And they are not far away, but still, it takes a lot of courage, and she has a lot of passion and concern for these women, and she just closes a blind eye to all of that.
Correct. Besides, the inmates will tell me every once in a while, "We got you back, Miss Judy. Nobody will bother you when you're in here." They've told me that before.
That's great. And something else they don't really know too is, like, when you're sitting, it's kind of like a lunchroom with the tables,
exactly,
tables with the little round seats. That's the only furniture they have that they sit on together around, and then the rooms where they sleep, and the showers and the toilet, they're all right there. And so anytime somebody flushes, you hear it. Anytime somebody showers, you hear it. And others that aren't attending, you've got to hear all that noise around you. So there's a lot of competition for her attention.
Sometimes TV's on.
Yeah.
on this side are on the telephone. Over here, they're on kiosk. It's interesting. The first time I was there and the toilet flushed, I just said, "Wow, I have never taught before when you can hear the toilet flush." It's different.
It is different, and it's cold. It's a very sterile environment. And the ceilings are real high, and the TV's way high. No one can touch it. It's out of everyone's reach. So whatever they decide to put on there or do, that's it. Volume,
Correct.
you can't control it, anything.
Correct.
Yeah, it's. But you've been doing this how many years now?
Since 2016.
Wow, 2016. That's a long time, Judy. I didn't realize you'd been back in Alabama that long.
2016. When we moved back, Janet gave me a couple of months to get used to being back, and then she
corralled you in.
Dared me to go in with her.
Yeah. And now you're daring anybody to keep you out.
That's true. That's true. It's a God thing. I would have never chosen it.
Right.
But he chose me to go in.
Yeah. It's good work. Okay. Well, we're looking forward to hearing more of The Wall tonight. So, you ready to read?
Okay. So we got this little woman who's been through a whole lot of hurts, and so she decided to start building walls, and we ended up last week with her saying, then one day I realized the wall was so high that I could no longer see anyone go by. I no longer heard anyone. Everything was quiet. Is anybody there? I yelled, and that's where we left off last week.
Okay.
Well, here we go. I think I'll read first, and then I'll show you the picture.
Okay.
When she screams out, "Is anybody there?" there was no answer. It was dark inside the wall, and the air was foul. I sat there for a long time. It was quiet and dark and lonely. Only the whispers of my memories could be heard. And here she is in her despair. Do you see it? Makes you sad just looking at the little picture. I thought of those who did not like my wall, who had laughed at it, scorned it, been jealous of it. That's interesting, isn't it? Been jealous of it. I sat in the shadows and listened for someone to come and tell me that they really liked it. But it was dark and quiet, very quiet. And here she is sitting in her little, bless that baby. I don't know how long I sat in the shadow of my memories, but one day I noticed that one of the stones didn't match as well as I had thought, and the wall was crooked. This was too much. I have to stop and say, this speaks to me because my dad was a perfectionist, and I got a whole lot of that God has helped me with, but I wanted to be a perfectionist for him. He was a perfectionist. So I had thought my wall was perfect, but it was not. Frantically, I examined the wall, and sure enough, there were other imperfections. And here's her little imperfect wall. Bless it, little heart. To add to the pain of my discovery, one day someone yelled from the other side, "Your wall is ugly. It is twisted and gray and misshapen." This is what they saw. I can't see what y'all are seeing. Yeah,
Yeah,
you
we
got
know you're doing great.
it was on the day that happened where that happened where people are saying your wall's ugly. It was the day the flower fell at my feet that I began to cry. I ran to the wall and climbed up to see who had thrown it over. But by the time I reached the top, no one was there. And I returned to the flower and I sat for a long time looking at its perfection. And I began to see the folly of my wall and its imperfection. Here she is looking for whoever threw the flower over.
Love it.
Floods of tears brought me to my knees. Oh, I am so alone. My wall is too high. My wall is imperfect and ugly. Everything is in vain. I have nothing left. Won't somebody help me, please? Here she is now.
Oh.
Okay, I hope I make it through this part.
Okay.
Then a strange thing happened. Something inside me stirred as a baby quickens in its mother's womb. And in the stillness of my broken world, I knew in my whole being a blessed presence. Blessed presence is capitalized. I knelt there in wonder that God would come to me. And I wept with joy that I was not alone and that my darkness had been penetrated by his blessed light.
Beautiful.
For days I stood in the joy of his presence. My wall shone with the warmth of his light, and I no longer felt cold and alone. I knew that he had watched me build my wall and that he had waited patiently for me to see it was in vain. And here she is, just being in his presence.
Love it.
Finally, it occurred to me that he would know why my wall was so ugly. And when I asked him, he began to teach me. Day by day, he showed me my error. He gave the stones names.
Wow.
This stone is jealousy. You must remove it. Sometimes I would be reluctant. For days, I would protest. This was my favorite stone. It was one I had saved and cherished for years. And when I was finally ready, he helped me remove the stone. And here we are.
Oh, coming down.
Okay, here's where I can make it through this.
Okay. Okay. It's okay.
Could someone else read?
No, you're doing good.
One day, when we had removed one of the heavier stones, a hand came through the opening. Take it, he said. See, I remember this. Hesitantly, I took the hand, and for a long time I stood in the warmth of that grasp.
Mm.
And somehow I knew the hand and the one behind it had been waiting for an opening in my wall.
Mm.
There stirred a hunger in me, a longing for human comfort.
Mm. Look at
Can you
that.
see it?
Hold it still. Hold it still. That's good. That's really good. Oh,
Doggy.
what was she longing for? Human what? Connection?
There stirred in me a hunger and a longing for human comfort.
Comfort, comfort. Wow.
Let me
This is
stop there and
brilliant.
say one of the hardest things that has happened in the jail 2 years ago. They told us we could not touch the women in there.
Mhm,
I almost quit.
mhm.
Touch is so important,
So important.
but they know I can't touch them, so I'll tell them, look, I'm hugging you in my mind. I tell them that. Okay. Whew. At first, I thought his presence within my wall was enough.
Mhm.
But with the coming of the hand clasp, I knew he had come. He had come to tear the wall down.
Mm.
A part of me wanted to spring forth, but another part of me cried out in fear. Why couldn't I keep a part of the wall? His presence was enough. And I looked at all the stones I had collected throughout my life.
Mm.
Some were still in the wall.
Mm.
The others he had stacked neatly in a corner. Interesting, isn't it? He's
Mhm.
going to tell her why. If I ever chose to rebuild the wall, I could.
Wow.
I begged him to throw them away, but he told me that in them I could test my strength. How they tempted me.
Mm.
That's it for today.
Wow.
I'm using as a bookmark a letter I got from an inmate in a jail.
That's precious.
Yes, I am.
Oh my goodness. Okay. Wow. So like I said last week, I did not get the book. I just wanted to get it all fresh. And I'm like, this is really a powerful book.
I
I'm understanding.
told you.
It's
Wow.
brilliant. It's brilliantly written.
Yes.
Simple, but so deep, so
Yeah.
profound, right? I just made a list of all these words, like what she was experiencing inside that, the dark, the foul air, quiet, lonely, whispers. What was that? Whispers of something. I can't read my own
You
writing.
got me. I don't know that.
Shadows, dark and quiet. Yeah, it doesn't. No, nothing about that sounds invitational, right?
It does sound like that hall we walked down, right?
It very much so.
Yeah.
Very much so.
Yeah.
Just like that cold. It's so cold in there. But then when you walk into the blocks, it can be a little stinky too.
Right. Right.
Yeah,
Because you got,
the odor.
especially if there are a great many inmates in there,
Mhm.
just breathing,
Yeah,
breathing
yeah.
air that you don't have enough air for.
It's very stale and sort of sweaty and dirty smell. Yeah. I mean, I imagine when you leave, you never forget that smell.
When I walk down the hall to go to the cell blocks, when they open, when they buzz open the first door, there's a smell that hits me that the smell of the jail, and I'll never forget that smell. I don't know what it is. That's not necessarily a foul smell, but there's a, you're
Mhm.
in the jail.
Well, it
Yes.
doesn't smell like a candle. Put it that
No,
way.
it doesn't smell like a candle. And they clean with Clorox, and I'm allergic to Clorox.
Oh, that's the
I'm
worst.
just like, whoa, baby.
Worst. Yeah. Wow. So where do you want to go? I mean, you got really emotional. You want to talk about those parts? How
Well, I
this
just
story,
think it's so cool that back behind all those walls, here comes Jesus. He just came in there, man. That wall didn't stop him. He can walk through walls. So when I go into cell blocks, I tell them, hey, Jesus is here with us. A buzz door doesn't stop him. He's here. So the fact that, she there is some rebellion in there. There's some confusion, obviously, hurt, anguish, and he just comes busting right through. And one guy came through, you remember, and he got too close and she wanted him to leave. It made her feel uncomfortable. Jesus never made her feel uncomfortable. And the light of his presence, she didn't feel that cold and dark. And
right.
so
Right.
that was just incredibly cool.
That was the contrast when he came.
Yeah, there's even a picture.
Then the words changed, right?
Yeah.
He's not alone. There's warmth. There's light.
See, when he comes, this is the picture. See how the
Yes.
stones are light now?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, keep going.
So you asking me, that's what.
Yeah, so the presence, Jesus.
Okay, I don't know if I can talk about the next one. The hand coming through the wall.
Come on, talk about it.
You know it. You know it.
I do.
You may have to tell it.
No, you got to tell it. It's your story. Yeah, you can tell it.
Easier said than done.
I know it.
So, that my father died when I was 16. Then I gave all that last week. About 5 people, close people in my family just died. I started building my wall and decided the people that were already in there could stay there. That would be my mother, my brother. Everybody was dying off, and but I wasn't going to let anybody else in. I started, we graduated in January back then. So I graduated in December of 63, and Daddy had died in February of 63, and my uncle died in November of 63, and boom, I was supposed to start school in January of 64 at Sanford, because God just, it's unbelievable. Daddy didn't get any money when he died. There was no pension, there was no nothing. 53 years old, boom, he's dead. Mother's 46, never worked a day in her life. He's 53, no Social Security, no nothing. So I found out later my brother went to the principal of Inslee High School. His name was Robert Pennington, and he at one time was the boys advisor, and I worked in the boys advisor's office, so he knew me very well. So he became the principal of the high school. My brother, unknowingly to me, went and talked to him, and he got me put in a competition with the Optimist Club in Birmingham to get a scholarship. So we went through competition, and another girl and I won the scholarship. She went to Birmingham Southern, and I went to Sanford. So boom, I started in January. That's too soon.
Mhm.
Way too soon. So I made it. I don't know how long, maybe 2 months. I don't know. And I'm sitting at the kitchen table in this little bitty apartment that we had moved in. And I was supposed to write a research paper for a Old Testament. I think I was taking Old Testament. At Sanford, you used to have to take
Yeah.
Old Testament and New Testament. So I was trying to get my stuff together, and I just looked at my mother and I said, I cannot do this. I cannot do this. Well, she, again, I didn't know all this stuff. She went to the dean of students at Sanford. His name, I can't remember. Bill, maybe Langford. I don't know. I know Mr. Langford was at Southeastern, so it was Bill something. And mother went and talked to him because, see, he was familiar with who was on the scholarship thing. And so he shut down, he dismissed me from classes, shut down my whole record. Nothing of that semester was recorded, and I started fresh the next semester.
Wow.
So I started fresh, whatever it was, in September of the next year, of the same year.
Yes.
So that they wiped out that first 2 months. Usually, if you dropped back then, if you dropped out after a certain amount of time, you flunked the courses.
Right. And
so
scholarship. Right.
Yeah. So again, God stepped in, and so I had that semester to recuperate, and then started back, I guess, in September. I don't remember. Okay. Back then, you had to take 4 years, 2 years of PE. Thanks to John F. Kennedy, he started the requirement of physical education. You had to take 4 years in high school back then, 2 years in college. So I'm in my freshman year of college, and had this lady named Mona Washburn. She's 6 feet or 6'1". She was a tall, like, nice build, but she was a tall lady. And I figure this dean of students had clued her into me. And I was walking down the hall one day in the gym, and she just walked up to me, put her arm around me, and pulled me to her and said, "How you doing? What's going on?" That was my hand through the wall. And that began the process of me realizing what was going on. And that started my taking down of my wall. It wasn't immediate, of course, but that's my hand through the wall.
Yeah, let's just stay there, right there in that moment for a minute. I know you're probably wanting to get out of it as fast as possible.
Yes, I'm thinking, thank you, I made it through it. We can go on.
Oh, no, because it's a pretty significant moment. The hand coming through the wall is a pretty significant moment in the book, and it's a pretty significant moment in your life. When you said, I think my mom talked to the dean, or the dean was aware, or Miss Washburn was aware. You didn't think that at the moment? That's something that you
had no idea. I think now, and it may not have been. It may have been just a God thing.
But in the moment,
I didn't know. I didn't think it.
Okay, so let's
start. Why is this woman doing this?
Right, that's what I was going to say, because you had your walls up.
Yeah.
And so how did she touched you, which is very personal.
Yeah.
Right? Even if it's just a hand on the shoulder, it sends signals to your body, somebody's in your space, and you didn't brush her off. You didn't.
No, here's the deal.
Okay.
Here's the deal. You mentioned warmth then. I had a warm feeling. It was comfort in that feeling. It was comfort in that touch. It was unbelievable.
Stay right there. that comfort, was that the first comfort offered you after the series of death?
That's the first significant, I'm sure people in my family tried to talk to me and stuff.
But they didn't get through the wall, I bet.
No. And at school, remember I was at high school, my last year of high school. I mean, I bricked all those suckers off at high school. I know people who went to high school with me did not wonder what in the world is the matter with her.
So I see the.
Oh, let me tell you this. This is, to me, this sticks with me. My mother told me that I grew up in a day after my father died. I grew up in, because then it was just me and her. She had to go back to business college to sharpen up on her business skills to get a job. So it's just me and my mom. And nobody in our family gave mother a penny to help. That's God, my hand to God, that's true.
Wow, that's so tragic, so very tragic. So this young girl, she's done a nice job building the wall up. You actually had more time to build it when you weren't in school. You probably laid some more stones.
I did.
Yeah.
I had more time.
So let's just say maybe people did try to comfort you, and that would be kind of like the flower that was thrown over the wall.
Yeah, no, it would,
Nope.
because
Nope.
when you see what the flower was,
okay.
no.
Okay. But her touch, this is why I'm curious about that moment. Why that moment she was able to penetrate the wall. The hand went through and touched you, and you felt, wow, I love what she said. It was really powerful when I don't have the book, so I'm just looking at my notes.
Okay, I may be able to read it.
Mm-hmm.
One day when we removed one of the heavier stones, a hand came through the opening.
Okay.
Take it, he said. Jesus says, take the hand. You want me to keep on?
No, that's good. That's good. So I've forgotten that the presence had already come. And so you were talking last week that you had gotten saved through.
I did.
Worthy
That is absolutely true.
The presence had already
come. And that
come
was before I met Mona Washburn. I had met Jesus. That's absolutely true.
I understand why you love this book. It's your story. Okay.
It is my story. I don't know who told her, but that's my story.
So the presence, when you just, because this is the way the Holy Spirit works, right? It's kind of an instant thing where your body, where you do through your body, through your soul, through the Spirit, that this touch was a good touch and it was a welcome touch.
It was comfort, love, just overwhelmed me. Yep.
Just one touch.
Mm-hmm.
That's so
now cool. I stuck with her. I would go to her and talk to her about stuff,
Yeah.
And she's the one that she was a Christian and Missionary Alliance member, and she sent me to the Tabernacle to go to church.
Really?
At night. I would go at night to the Tabernacle.
They had services. What? They had services every night?
Morning, Sunday night.
Yeah.
Me and my friend Kay Winslet used to go to the Tabernacle for Sunday night. So I never been in services like this. These people were happy. They were joyful. They were praising God. It was unbelievable. And they talked, Brother Johnson way back. I don't know if you even remember him. He taught the word, baby. And then Rick Vignell took over in there. So I was getting fed, like unbelievably fed. She went to Eastlake Alliance, Miss Washburn did. So
that church, okay, that represents.
Isn't that weird? I just connected that.
What'd you connect? What's the connection?
then I started teaching at Alliance Christian School, started by the Tabernacle, a Christian in Alliance.
Right.
Gee, I can't believe I've never connected all that.
Huh. So in the book, the presence began to teach her.
Yes,
So
that's
that
what he.
sounds like that's what's going on as
When
you're
I
going
went,
into the church,
right,
and the teaching, along
right,
with this woman's care, this hand that you're not wanting to let go of,
true,
is the combination of that helped you start dismantling
exactly.
the wall.
Yes, yes,
I mean,
yes.
let's just stop for a minute and just, for everybody's sake, and just think about the power of touch, the power of offering comfort. It doesn't have to be a touch, but basically, I think we said this last time, I'm not sure, the fundamental needs we have are to be seen, to be heard, to be accepted, and to be celebrated. And that, how are you doing? Arm around the shoulder is like, I'm seeing you and I'm open to hearing from you and accept. And
Yeah, right.
there's a noticing, there's an attunement. That's really what attunement is. She's attuning to you in
She
this
did.
dark place that you're living in. She got through.
It's true.
That's pretty amazing. And just, for everybody that's listening to this, I just want to, encourage you to just look back at your life and see, where that's happened for you. And I know for a lot of people listening, you were the Miss Washburn.
That's what I was just fixing to tell you. So I went in, I knew I wanted to be a teacher.
Mm-hmm.
A teacher at Inslee High School, a very young girl named Joanne Sumner was my history teacher in my junior year. And she was inside my wall. Mm-hmm. She ministered to me when my father died. And we stayed close for years and years. Mm-hmm. But when I decided to teach, and then I met Mona Washburn, I said to God, I want to be a teacher like Mona Washburn.
Beautiful. And you were?
I think.
And you still are. You still are. Yes, you're the hand. Mm-hmm. That's beautiful, Judy. Well, I know for me,
killing me here.
I'm killing. I love this stuff. I get into this stuff. Yeah, but that's what you definitely were for me. So it's like, it's so funny because I didn't know really much about this book, but as I'm listening, I'm seeing my story in there too. Of course, everybody's listening is going to see their story because it's pretty universal. We all do this.
Exactly.
But we had a full circle moment last time, and this time it's the same because I had those walls. It was hard to tell because I actually am kind of an introvert, which most people would say that's not even possible. But what I did was I say I'm an introvert that learned how to be an extrovert, to act like an extrovert. So I would be like witty and I don't know, just I would have a presence. I try to have a personality to gather friends and to feel accepted and feel like I belonged to something. But the pain in my heart was deep, right? My mother had left so many soul crushing wounds with her tongue, with her treatment of me, that, it was just, but the I met you at Alliance Christian School my sophomore year. I still remember when we met because I didn't know anything about you. I'm in the PE class. It's first day in PE class, and you were calling roll and you read my name. Do you remember that?
No, but I was not trained to be a PE teacher,
right?
So I didn't go through. but I took as much PE as I could because I was just an athlete. I was a natural born athlete, and so I didn't go through the training. And after I'd been at Alliance for 2 years, the PE teacher left, and Ms. Adams asked me to teach PE. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Okay, let me hear this. So
that was for me, I guess. Because I didn't have any other classes with you. So
wow,
I know it, right?
we would have never met.
Well,
I mean, like that.
yeah,
We
right.
all
But
right,
you're
keep
like
up.
call and roll, and you come to my name, and you're like, Werner, hey, you live on the same street as my grandfather.
That's
Pointed
true.
your little bony finger at me and pointed me out in the class. Like, okay, my grandfather lives here. And you started talking. That was my first exposure to you, right?
Wow.
But as the year went, I mean, so that right there was pointing at me. I mean, that was the hand trying to poke through a brick even there. But you I don't know how we connected, but I know that the next year between sophomore and junior year, I came back to school. That's the moment.
This I remember. This I remember like it happened yesterday.
Do you?
Yeah,
So yeah, I came back to school, and it's the first day of school, and I'm walking down the hall, and I walk past the classroom, and I see you sitting at one of the students' desks writing with your left hand on the, and I stuck my head in, and I said, "Hey, Miss Boyd," and you literally jumped out of your seat and ran over to me and gave me a hug. And I've never forgotten that hug. So Miss Washburn's hug just got to me.
Transferred to you.
Transferred to me. Full circle.
Yeah.
Right?
It's weird, man.
I've never forgotten it because I didn't get touch in my family. That wasn't a thing. Right? Not touch like that. Might have gotten a spanking here and there, but no tenderness or comfort or anything like that. So it was like, I felt that same way, that warmth, like there was an invitation in that. When she put her arm around you, there was an invitation in that. And there was an invitation.
You know what, too? I felt safe. I felt safe. Yeah.
I felt seen. I don't know that I felt safe because I was scared to death to be seen, actually. To be, the image that I portrayed, that was my wall, right?
Yeah.
Of Miss Personality, witty, all that kind of stuff. But the scared little girl who was so deeply wounded was very closed in, sealed in. And that was the first penetration of that. And it scared me a bit. I liked it, but it scared me to be seen, right? So
yeah.
That's beautiful. But that was a really powerful moment. And for those, and I bet you there's a lot of people listening to this or that will listen to this later who have had that Washburn touch. We'll just call it that. I like that.
That's great.
The Washburn touch through Judy, and they've never forgotten.
Oh, you were going to put it on to me. Whoa. Woo, I don't know if I'm worthy of that.
It's kind of like a mantle. Well, that's what you asked for. That's what you got.
Yeah, you're right.
So I'm going to ask everybody that's listening or watching to post it. Post your touch, your moment, your Washburn moment, or do a little video so we can see it, because I think that would be really, really, really precious. Because I know, and this is one reason why we started this, because I know there are a lot of people who have received that from you and really love you, and they just want to keep hearing from you, because you are the warmth, you are the light, you feel safe. And there's an invitation from always, and everyone watching this, everyone who's following this page that knows you feels like they could come to you at any time if they needed you, right? For whatever. They feel like there's a safe place to go. Right. So that's beautiful. So post it, comment below, all that. I'm not seeing anything here. I'm not sure, this time of day is not the best, but anyway, I don't know how many actually attend live stuff anyway. It's not my thing so much, but I think we're going to get a lot of feedback here. And I can't wait to read that. Let's talk for just a minute. We're going to close in about 10 minutes. I don't want it to go over the hour.
Yeah.
Talk about some of the stones. What would you call them? Because she had names for them. Which I thought was interesting.
But we're gonna have more later. So
okay, so leave some more.
They're gonna name them.
Okay.
He's gonna name them later as they go.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So today the highlight then is about the hand coming through the wall.
Kills me every time you say.
Beautiful. It's beautiful. I just lift up my hands and in gratitude and in worship to the King of Kings, the presence of light. Jesus is the light of the world, the light that shone through into your space, the light that's shone through into my space, into many other people's space that are in this room. And then, but I love, here's the one thing I want to point out too, is I love that his presence, she's like, I felt like that might be enough, but he's like,
yeah, that's very significant. Yeah,
that's very significant because we sing these songs, you are my all in all, and you're all I need, and all this kind of stuff. And I'm like, yes and no, because he designed us to be living our lives in community, not to be walled off.
Right, and that's what he's trying to teach her.
Yeah,
you can't stay back here with me forever. Okay. You need people in your life.
Okay, well, I don't want to do a spoiler or anything, so we'll just leave it there. But I think that's really cool. Really cool. I'm very intrigued and I want to know more, but I really like hearing it live from you too. So it's fun. All right. Anything that you want to say then before we
I will say that at Samford around this very same time was a girl named Mary Jo DeShara back then. She Mary Jo Fritz she became, and she was a PE major. We were there at the same time, and I think because of the atmosphere of her being at the gym, we went to Inslee together, but I don't remember. We were a semester apart at Inslee. So because she was in the gym a lot, because she was a PE major, I let her in pretty quickly. And she became a very close friend and is to this day.
That's great. Now, what about Miss Washburn? Did you keep up with her through the years?
When I moved to Louisiana, I did not. When I came back, I contacted Mary Jo, and I had been contacted. We wanted to try to find her. And unfortunately, she died in 2019. And I was here. I had 3 years. I had 3 years to find her. And I think she had been moved to a assisted living facility or something, and I missed it. But she'll be one of the first ones I see in heaven. Yes. I know she'd be up there with Jesus.
Right? I love that song. Thank you for giving to the Lord. I'm the life that's changed.
It's one of mine. Yeah, she's a key.
Yeah, I just think that is going to be one of the most joyful things in heaven. Because I have no clue who that lady was that shared the gospel with me when I was 5
you were a
years
little
old.
kid. Yeah.
I just said this tall, skinny lady, that said your heart's black with sin and Jesus can make it white as snow. And I'm like, oh, I want a white heart. Which is really a terrible presentation of the gospel, but
it worked.
Used it anyway. But I want to look her up because, that day, the domino effect, it goes on and on and on, as does Miss Washburn. She's going to see the domino effect too. It's going to be beautiful. I mean, who knows how long that particular scene in heaven's going to take.
Right.
Because, the ripple effect is humongous, for all eternity. So beautiful, beautiful story. And so beautiful how God sends a person to us at the right time. He just knows. And that's gorgeous.
And she was very comfortable with it.
Hmm.
I mean, it wasn't like it was forced or it was just a part of her personality, and it was very comfortable how she walked up to me and just put her arm around me and pulled me to her.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad
Yep,
she did because
me too.
that's affected all of us.
It's true. Here we go again.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much, Judy. You know, I love you. And I'm going to sign off of the live and hold you here. So let me see what I can do
Bye,
there.
y'all.